Hey, where are you right now? I'm not entirely sure. Don't make me upset. There's nothing of ours left in the house. What's going on? Well, I gathered all my things and left. Okay, I don't understand. Why would you leave? Since we're divorced, it's not wrong for me to go. Divorced? I was the one who filed for the divorce. What? My name is Claire. I'm 35 and work in an office. I'm married to Evan, and we've been together for 5 years. He used to work for a company, but he quit 2 years ago to start his own business. Unfortunately, it hasn't been successful, and we've been facing financial difficulties for the past 2 years. Thankfully, I have a decent salary, so we managed to get by. Our relationship is alright, not great, but not terrible either. However, I have major issues with my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, who live in my husband's family home. Every time I see them, they mock my appearance and always find something to complain about. It truly bothers me and causes a lot of stress. My in-laws' place is only a 10-minute drive from our apartment, so my husband often wants to visit them. Initially, I went along with it to make him happy, but lately, I've started to stand up for myself because their behavior has become unbearable. Even when I try to assert myself, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law persist. They're always looking for ways to ask me for money. Hey, Claire, I need $500 for a friend's birthday gift. Can you lend it to me? $500? What do you plan to buy? I'm thinking of giving a trip, and I'll be joining too. No, that sounds off. It feels like I'm covering the cost, and I can't afford to give $500. You're so stingy. Claire, are you really that tight with money? Even though he supports you. Excuse me? I'm the one supporting him. My husband hasn't contributed anything to our expenses in over a year, and your sister-in-law should find a job. It's not acceptable to be unemployed at her age. Why does my mother-in-law tolerate my sister-in-law's lack of work? I wanted to express all of this, but my husband cut me off. Hey, Claire, my friend's birthday is coming up. I want to buy a gift, so can you lend me $500? You really get it. You're a good son. Could I also get about $300? I need it for something. I wasn't sure. It's fine, Claire. You should have around $300 in your wallet, right? Come on, hand it over quickly. My husband, perhaps out of pride, insisted that I give the money to my sister-in-law without hesitation, then started saying confusing things like, "Thanks to me, we can enjoy this luxurious lifestyle." I couldn't fathom why my husband had been acting this way lately. On the ride home, I confronted him. Why are you acting like this? I have my pride as the eldest son. He started saying even more baffling things, which led to a big argument. Once you give them money, they start acting superior. What's wrong with wanting to make my own mother happy? We can't afford to live extravagantly, you know. Do you understand? You're not contributing anything to our expenses. So what? We received a significant bonus this summer. Don't depend on that. That money is meant for savings. Since that moment, my husband and I have been in constant conflict. How can he act so arrogantly while we're struggling financially? Why does he always have to dominate our relationship? His flaws are becoming increasingly apparent. I realized I didn't have to endure things I didn't like just for his sake. So when he recently announced, "We're going to my mom's," I replied, "You can go by yourself." My husband attempted to argue, saying, "What do you mean? It's normal for a wife to join her husband," but when I pointed out, "So you're abnormal for not joining me when we visit my parents?" he got irritated and said, "Do what you want." Then he went to his parents' house alone. A weekend away from my mother-in-law and sister-in-law felt like such a relief. I felt comfortable and relaxed. With some free time on my hands, I concentrated on pursuing my dream of buying my own home. I spent time researching online and ordering brochures. My hopes and aspirations were growing, and just thinking about my future house excited me. As I browsed different furniture options online, I imagined arranging them perfectly in my new home. Lost in those thoughts, time flew by, and before I knew it, evening had arrived, and my husband was back. "Oh, welcome home. Oh, is he still upset? How immature. He should behave more responsibly as a grown man." I wasn't going to cater to my husband, so I continued preparing dinner without engaging him. Then, unexpectedly, he spoke up. "You've become quite daring lately, huh? Standing up to me and saying you don't want to see my mother and the others. Daring? We're equals in this relationship. Besides, your mother and others always criticize me, so I don't want to visit your parents' house anymore." That's what I mean by being bold. Usually, wives are expected to obey their husbands. If you think I can't do that, are you implying divorce? Divorce? Are you surprised that I wouldn't mind being divorced from you? But I'm really upset with you. I've already prepared my part of the paperwork, so it can be filed anytime. I let it go this time, but if you defy me again, it will lead to an immediate divorce. Consider that. With that, my husband smirked and commanded, I'm going to take a bath. Hurry up and finish dinner. Once I confirmed he was in the bath, I couldn't shake off the feeling of relief. At last, I could end my relationship with that man whenever I chose. I prepared dinner with a light heart. From that point forward, I diligently saved up and was nearly ready to make the down payment on my dream home. It was tough to contain my excitement and suppress my smiles, but I maintained a composed demeanor around my husband. Finally, I purchased a house in my name. All that remained was to finalize the divorce once the house was ready and leave the home I shared with my husband. I began to pack my belongings slowly, ensuring my husband wouldn't catch on, and sent them to my parents' house for safekeeping. I had confided in my parents about everything, and they were supportive of my situation. When the house was finally completed, my husband went to his parents' place as usual for the weekend, and I took the opportunity to move all my things into my new home. The house was incredibly comfortable, and both its interior and exterior matched my visions perfectly. As I reveled in the delightful aroma of my new surroundings, my husband called me later that evening. Hey, where are you? Well, where do you think I am? Stop joking around. There's nothing left in the house. What's going on? I packed all my things and left. What? I don't understand. Why would you do that? Well, now that we're divorced, it's not unusual for me to move out, is it? Huh? Divorced? I already filed for divorce papers. What? We're not together anymore. Don't try to deceive me. I won't accept that. But you were the one who said we could get divorced whenever. As a businessman, you should honor your word. Anyway, this is the end for us. With that, I ended the call. At last, I was free from my husband. That night, I slept soundly. Living in my new house was blissful, and every morning I woke up feeling rejuvenated. Today, I decided to invite my parents to my new home for their first visit. While I was cooking in the kitchen, my parents arrived, bringing a bottle of celebratory sake. They were both surprised and impressed with my new place, and soon the three of us raised our glasses for a toast. Even though it was a little early, we started our celebration. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. Huh? Who could that be at this hour? When I checked the intercom, I was stunned to see my ex-husband, ex-mother-in-law, and ex-sister-in-law at the door. Why are you here? From now on, my parents and I will be living here. My father is in the hospital right now, but when he's discharged, he'll also be living here. Please leave immediately. No way, that's ridiculous. Why should I do that? Leave my property right now. At that moment, my ex-mother-in-law stepped forward. You impudent girl, listen, what's yours is mine. If you understand, open the door. What are you talking about? I'm single now. Huh? Didn't your son inform you that we've already filed for divorce? We're strangers now. Upon hearing this, my ex-mother-in-law and ex-sister-in-law glanced at my ex-husband. He seemed to be explaining something to them, though I couldn't see clearly on the intercom. He was probably saying something like, I don't accept this. I told them, anyway, you can't come into this house, please leave, and hung up the intercom. My ex-husband continued yelling at the door, demanding to talk, and I was at a loss for how to get him to leave. Then, to my astonishment, a police car pulled up in front of my house, and they took my ex-husband into custody. I could hear him protesting and struggling as the police restrained him. It hurts. Why is this happening to me? Meanwhile, my ex-mother-in-law and ex-sister-in-law stood in shock, realizing that their son was divorced. Although they weren't arrested, they were escorted away in the police car. After watching my ex-husband and his family being taken away, I went back inside the house, wondering who had called the police. Then, unexpectedly, my father made a peace sign. In situations like this, you call the police immediately. Trust you to be calm, Dad. We continued our celebration with another round of drinks. As for how my ex-husband discovered my new address, it turned out he had followed me home from work, admitting to stalking me. If he shows up again, he'll be arrested on the spot. Given his timid nature, it's unlikely he'll dare approach this house again. I also obtained a restraining order against his family following the incident. It seems my ex-husband's business took a downturn, leading to a mountain of debt. With the divorce, the financial support he and his family relied on from me was cut off. Additionally, with his father in the hospital, they had no source of income and had to sell their house. It's a classic case of reaping what you sow. On the other hand, I invited my parents to live with me in my new home. They're very happy, calling me incredibly devoted, and they're enjoying life in our new space. I want to continue cherishing my parents and live joyfully as a close-knit family. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video, and stay amazed.